So this evening, one of the great things that we have in store for you is Rachel. She is going to be doing a hair tutorial for you all, and she's going to be doing a rainbow colored hair. So this is vibrant colors, absolutely gorgeous. And Rachel is actually an Aveda Institute Winnipeg graduate. So Rachel, welcome.
Hi guys, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited to have you on, especially the fact that you are an Aveda Institute Winnipeg grad. So tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing for us this evening.
So I'll bring this a little closer so you guys can see. So right now, something that I'm seeing a lot of is a lot of different kind of fashion colors or more rainbow colors. So today I wanted to show you guys just kind of how to create more of a rainbow pattern within the hair and also give it a little bit of dimension. So I did a few different colors in here. So I finished one side so you guys can see it, and then I'm going to be working on the blank side to show you guys exactly what I did.
Beautiful. So what's the first step here?
So the first step is always sectioning out. You want to make sure that your sections are nice and clean and that you have an actual kind of blueprint of what you're going to be doing. So I sectioned out the front pieces right here, and that's what's going to give me this section here. And then I also did a tiny little section right on the top, and that's going to give me the little rainbow pop there. And then everything that's left out is going to be our base color. So the first thing I would do is start applying our base color.
Beautiful. And I love that pop of rainbow color. If I was cool enough to pull that off, I might do it in my hair, but I don't know.
One day, Tina, I'll get you there.
Yeah, hair dreams and hopes. That's my inspiration right there. Awesome. So we'll let you get started. So now we are going to be talking to Colleen. Colleen is an industry professional. She is going to be talking to you this evening about how to maximize your earning potential at every stage in your career. She has literally worked in every aspect. So as an apprentice, as a chair renter, as an educator. So without further ado, I'll let you introduce yourself, Colleen, and you can get started and inform us on everything.
Awesome. Well, hello. I don't need to introduce myself, Tina. That was so nice, your introduction there.
I got a little excited.
I love it. I love it. So thanks for letting me come and chat today. So this is something I'm really passionate about. I'll tell a quick little story first. My mom didn't tell me until after I had graduated from hair school and was doing, pretty well in the industry. And she said, when I told your grandma that you were going to become a hairstylist, she just was like, oh no, like this is terrible. Like only the best hairstylists make good money. And I remember just thinking like, well, that's okay. Because who really decides to go to hair school to just be like mediocre? And especially who decides to come to the Aveda Institute to just be mediocre? So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. So it also tells you, how much you put in and how much you work is really how much you're going to get back out of it. And I think it works like that for a lot of things. So I know there can be like a little bit of confusion as far as, do hairstylists make money? Can they make money? And the answer is yes, we absolutely can. And we can do it while absolutely loving what we're doing every day or almost every day. I used to be a buyer for a jewelry company. And when I quit that job to become a hairstylist, there were some people that were a little bit nervous. And I can say within, 2 to 3 years, I was making well over what I had made as a buyer. So there's definitely money to be made, and it's really all up to you to just go out and get it. So to start, apprenticeship would be sort of like the first thing that you would be doing coming out of hair school, or while you're still in hair school, if you decide to work at a salon, you would be doing your apprenticeship. It's really cool. Manitoba has one of the highest levels of apprenticeship training. They use the Red Seal trade, which is plumbers and what else? Electricians. So there's like, it's very regulated, whereas in a lot of other provinces and other states, they don't have it regulated like that. So Manitoba is pretty special in that way. You can pretty much go and work anywhere once you finish your apprenticeship. So your first year apprenticing, you're looking at making about minimum plus 10%, and your second year apprenticing minimum plus 20%. So you are required to work a full 2 years of apprenticeship once you graduate from hair school. And in that sort of time, I know people talk about renting a chair. You're not able to rent a chair in that period of time. That's kind of like you're learning. So if you think of it, I kind of look at the average university degree takes about 3 to 4 years to get. On average, I actually looked this up, but on average, you're spending about $9,000 a year on tuition. So that's about, sorry, 9,000. That's about $27,000 in 3 years. So I look at it. I'm not sure exactly how much the Aveda Institute is right now. So even if you say like $15,000 to $17,000 over 1 year, you're getting paid for the next 2 years to do your apprenticeship. So I look at it as though, I'm getting paid to go to school pretty much for 2 years. So some people are looking at it like, okay, the second I get out of school, I want to make as much money as I can. And that's not necessarily the way you want to go, because say a salon says, you know what, I'm going to pay you minimum plus 20% your first year. And then you find out all you get to do is, wash towels and sweep floors and assist, when really you'd be better off going to a salon that offers education, extensive training, and you'll find, over the next few years, the amount of money that that salon puts into you, you'll end up getting back over time. So that's one thing I find, like with apprenticeship, and when I hear, students coming out of school saying, oh, well, I'm making, $1 more an hour. It's like, really make sure you are doing your research. And when you go to the salons, you're not just being interviewed by them, but you're also interviewing the salon. What is your education platform? How often do we have an education fund? And if they're afraid or they don't want to tell you about it, maybe that's not necessarily the best place for you. So
I agree with that. Interviewing them to find out what their salon culture is about, because you're trying to find your forever home, right? So I love that you said that.
Absolutely. So I love that you're forever home. You really have to find a place that you fit, because I think so many people, will go into a salon maybe because it sounds cool, or they think, oh, they have a really good, maybe reputation, or I saw their stuff, and they go to it and can sort of be, kind of disappointed after, thinking, oh, it's not really what I expected it to be. So really make sure you're doing your research before you go out and find a salon. So what else shall we talk about? So the focus at Hair School, again, being education, also the benefits salon offers as well, to help you grow into your career successfully. So then your options after that are, you can become a commission stylist, and then some people go and rent a chair after. So those are 2 other options. Both of them I have done. And both can be great. It just totally depends on the.
Oh, we had Colleen freeze for a little bit here, so we're just gonna see if she'll get back in. Might just be a weak signal, so hopefully she will pop back in just a little minute here.
Hi guys, Colleen's actually gonna jump in on my screen with you.
Oh, perfect. There she is.
Oh, there's a good picture. I apologize. My computer died.
Oh no.
But the battery didn't run out, so I'm not sure what happened there. I apologize.
There you go. Now you're back. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, being a commission stylist or working as a booth renter. So they both have their pluses, minuses. As a commission stylist, this is one where I'm really impartial to, because you work at a salon, you have the full support of all, like the entire salon, all the other team members, all the educators within the salon, and it can really help you grow into your career. On the other hand, working as a chair renter, you can still do really well. You can still make a fair amount of money. However, it's more, you're in charge of like your hours, but you're more set up where you have to do everything for yourself. And you're really running your own business within a salon. So you have to do like all the paying of your taxes every year. You have to pay into EI. You have to make sure you carry all of your own products. And the cool thing about commission is that the salon does all that for you, but you still, like, I still see it as you building your own brand and your own business within that salon as well. So I think both are great. If you really thrive on being around people and you're more of an extrovert, I really think that commission is kind of the way to go. Yeah, it's kind of personal preference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people, their goal, like when I speak to students when they're very first starting out, a lot of them have the same goal of wanting to be salon owners, but chair rental options are a fantastic way to do that for a very fraction of the cost. So you don't need to worry about finding a building and hiring staff and that sort of thing. Just being able to operate as an independent business within another business as well, right? So.
Absolutely. And again, you can do that within a commission salon as well. And the cool thing with that is you can grow within a company. So if you're like, maybe I want to own a salon, but I want to learn all the different roles, you can grow in your company, kind of what I did. You can start as an apprentice, you know, you can work your way into a commission role. And then the more you learn, I learned a lot from Roberto, the more you learn, you know, you can become a director of education, you can become a creative director, and all those things will help you to get what you need to know before you open your own salon. So I also think that's a really great way to do it as well. You build a lot of connections that way too.
You do, and I think that's the beauty of this business. Is there's so many different opportunities within that one business. So you can really figure out what makes you passionate, what you love the most, and then just go with it.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. So to me, it's like, what should you do as a career? And to me, it's like, find what makes you happy, what you're passionate about, and you're going to figure out a way to make money at it. And you absolutely will. Like I was working a corporate job, and I just happened to assist at a hair salon when I was in university taking business school. And I was like, this is so cool. And I love this. And if I would have known more of what I had for options in going to hair school at the time, I think I might have even done it earlier. It's such a great career path. And if you say, you know what, I absolutely love cutting, you know, and a few years down the road, you can just cut if you want. You can just cut hair. You can just, you know, do blondes. That's the really cool thing, is you kind of get to grow into whatever career you want it to be.
Yeah, you can specialize it. You can customize it to whatever you want. And you're right. The thing is if you're passionate about the thing that you're doing, growing your business is going to become second nature to you. It's not going to feel like working at it, because you're just going to love what you're doing, that it's going to evolve naturally.
Absolutely. And it changes every day. So you're not just doing the exact same thing every day. If the idea is like, oh, you know, I couldn't imagine just standing behind the chair for 8 hours a day, it absolutely doesn't have to be that. There's so many different options of things that you can be doing. And like just thinking of our salon alone, I mean, we have people that have worked their way into, you know, operations roles within the salon, and HR roles within the salon, and education roles. And it's like, you kind of figure out what kind of makes you tick and what you're passionate about, or like early on, sometimes in your career. It can take a few years. And then you can just grow with the opportunities that you have from there. So there's so many opportunities. And like I said, becoming an educator is another opportunity. So if you're passionate about teaching other people, you can go educate at the Aveda Institute. So there's so many different roles just in the hairstyling industry.
You can come and work with me.
Oh my gosh, everybody's dream. Yeah. But what a great environment it is to work to. And I have worked there before, and I can say it's a great environment. I will say it's such an amazing hair school. I went to Capelli Academy, which was the Aveda Institute before, and now I'm aging myself, before it was the Aveda Institute. And so many of the same things were important back then too. And it was POD, which is our, you know, Aveda's points of difference. And it's really how we create the most unbelievable experience for our guests. And that's why we're so successful as, you know, as a company within Aveda. It's the differences that we have.
The little differences. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Colleen, for joining us and for sharing your knowledge with everybody. You know, I know we've had you on our virtual open house before, because you're just have so much experience, and you get everybody so passionate that I just love it. So thank you so much.
Thanks,
and if you have any questions for Colleen, you can always feel free to reach out to me, and I will pass along your information, Colleen. She's more than happy to help, always.
Yes, ask me as many questions as you like.
Challenge accepted.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll give you back to Rachel.
Yeah, we're gonna like touch you with Rachel and see what she's doing. Rachel, fill us in, my darling.
Hi guys, I'm just gonna turn up the volume. Give me one sec. There we go. Okay, so right now I have finished putting on our base color. So I'm going in and kind of creating our rainbow effect. So the great thing is I'm using our Aveda Vibrance line. So this is what we call a semi-permanent direct dye. So pretty much what you see in the bowl, so I've got my red, like that's what you're gonna get on the hair. And this likes to sit kind of right on the top of the hair and get that color in. So it makes it super easy for me just to put on and see exactly what I'm getting. So I always wanna start kind of with red. I like to follow the colors of the rainbow. And then I'm going in with my nice kind of yellowy color, and I just put it right slightly on top. What that's gonna do is allow that area to blend in nicely, which is gonna give me orange, because yellow plus red equals your orange. So I'm just kind of feathering that in, making sure it's really saturated. And then I'm going in with my blue color. And again, I'm just kind of overlapping a little bit and then giving it its own little space to work with. And then I'm gonna go back in with my red on the bottom here and do the same thing. So now just with using these three colors, I actually get pretty much the full rainbow. So I've got my yellow, or sorry, my red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. So it's pretty cool. And then I just kind of smudge it in a little bit for good luck. So yeah, so I'm gonna continue kind of moving up the head with this and then onto our little top piece.
So are you going to keep doing that on more sections of hair there, or is that going to be the
color? Yes. So I've got this whole kind of chunk, if you will, and I'm just taking like super fine little sections that I can almost see through to make sure that I get really full saturation. The biggest thing with color is making sure that it completely covers the hair so that you don't have any left out, there's no unevenness, and it just really fully gives you the vibrance that you're looking for.
Gorgeous. And then are you going to repeat the same color pattern?
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to kind of go with the same flow. I mean, you don't have to. That's the awesome thing about color is you really get to play and do your own thing. I mean, there is like basic rules, but eventually you get to break them and have fun with it.
Yeah. And especially the more you know, the more you get comfortable with it, the more you can experiment and just
exactly
boundaries, which really with color, there are none.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to let you keep going, and we will touch base with you again in a little bit. Now, one of the exciting things I have for everybody tonight is we're going to be interviewing 3 current students, so you can find out about what their experiences have been like as students here, and what advice they would be giving to all of you that are considering hair school. So right now, I have Phoenix here. Phoenix is in our September 2021 class, so he is actually graduating. 2020, yeah, sorry. Wow. So you'll be graduating in a few months. Now, Phoenix had a very interesting start here. So Phoenix is an international student, but you started during the pandemic, like right after the last shutdown. So first of all, I think I just really want to ask, as an international student, what made you choose Aveda as your hair school?
I chose Aveda, honestly, I didn't really look anywhere else first. I basically looked into what hair schools were around, and I immediately recognized the brand. I've used it since I was a child, and so it was very familiar for me. And then I just kind of was like, okay, I know these are good schools. I grew up in California where there's several Aveda institutes. And so that was just kind of, I trusted that I was in good hands, and then that was proven even further later down the line once I actually came in. But that was a big part of it for me, was that I knew that this was a brand that had values that reflected what I wanted to bring to hairstyling. So yeah, that was...
Just felt like home.
Yeah, it just worked immediately.
So what have been some of your favorite skills that you've learned here at Aveda?
I'm a really big fan of color. I kind of knew that I would be going into it. I colored my own hair all the time as a teenager, and continue to do so as an adult, obviously. But I knew that was going to be sort of my drive, but I didn't really understand the complexity of color until I got here, and I found that it just sort of made sense of it right away. Like, it just sort of was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I also am just a really big fan of doing kind of like very out there styles, and I expected to not be able to do that for a while. I thought I was just gonna have to sort of do like bare basic stuff first, and no, I've been able to do like the first color I ever really did, like a full head of color, was like blue and purple and like yellow. It was nuts.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
No, well, that was on my mannequin, and then like on people, I did like I've gotten to do silver hair, purple hair, all kinds of things. So like I have really been able to sort of spread my wings in that way, and I haven't felt limited in learning that, honing that skill.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, as a student here, what has been your favorite thing just about coming to school? And
I think my favorite thing about coming into school is honestly how like there's a lot of like little fun activities that we've gotten to do, whether it's because of the holidays or like we had Earth Month in April, or we had a lot of fun activities with that, and those are all wonderful, and I absolutely love them. But I think honestly, the immediate thing my brain jumped to, aside from all of the fun things that we get to do, is that when I am here, everyone is so genuinely kind to one another. There's never a moment, like even from the second that I first came here, which was like 2 years ago now, first time I ever like walked into the school, I was petrified. Salons scared me. And the first thing I noticed was that I was not intimidated by a single person, and that has continued to be the case even as I've gotten to know people, even as like, even if people have bad days, like whatever, it doesn't matter. That's the thing that sticks out.
yeah, well, I always tell people, even when I'm doing my virtual tours right now, but we are like one very big, weird, happy family.
Very weird.
Like everybody, it's just such a warm environment. I know I myself am notorious for crying my eyes out every single time a class graduates, because it is like losing members of your family, even though you're very happy that they're moving on with their career. It still hurts my heart.
Yeah.
And I want to keep everybody here. But I love that, you feel that too.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be graduating. Do you have, and I already know the answer to this, but do you have a job lined up?
I do. I not lined up. I have a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just currently am working. So I got hired at an Aveda salon in the city, and I was having a very rough time trying to sort of parse through. There's so many salons, especially close to the school. There's just so many, and there's a lot of new ones and there's a lot of old ones. There's just a really big salon culture here, and I was, especially as someone who's new to Winnipeg in general, I was kind of intimidated, but I talked to Tina, and I also talked to the Aveda salon development partner, Tara Jordan. She's lovely. If you go to the school, you will meet her. She's lovely, and so with her help and with Tina's help and just general support from all the educators, I was able to secure a job with no issue. It took from like the time I contacted them to my first day, it was less than a month. And I don't think that it would have gone so smoothly if I didn't have the backing of a school that people trust behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I remember you were very particular about
Yes.
finding that salon culture that was going to suit you.
Yeah.
So you did take your time with it, but I remember how quickly, when you decided on a place, you went for the interview and boom, you had it.
Yeah.
So that was fantastic. It was a proud mama moment. Now, being an international student, and from when you had to enroll starting a pandemic, for anybody watching who is nervous about starting school during a pandemic, what advice would you give them?
I would say the best advice that I can give at this point, I've had a lot of months to like work through the bizarreness, is that I think this is a great industry to go into, because even in a pandemic, I have been able to, regardless of the state of things, I've still never struggled to have the knowledge that I will have work. I will never even if I have to, you know, not work on people for a little bit, I know that that job's never going to vanish. And I know that that is always going to be there. And I think hairstyling, more than anything, working in like a service position where you're working with the public, you have to be flexible. And this time period is really teaching everyone to be flexible. So I think that this
And
is
adaptable.
yeah, and just adaptable and just figuring things out as they come. And so I think like coming into this career right now, first of all, you're going to be very resilient to any changes in your work or, you know, career life, because everything is changing. But I think it's also, I just think that it's a good career that will stick with you no matter what happens, you know?
And the one thing is too, is that hairstyling is one of those careers where you don't have e-commerce competition. People can't get a haircut online. They need to come to an individual. And I know even in the past when we've had shutdowns for a little bit, I mean, as soon as we were able to open up, hairstylists were booking up months and months in advance within a few days. So this is definitely a desired career. It's something that people need. And what a perfect time to start your career. You may as well go to school and get started on everything. So Phoenix, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I know you provided a lot of advice and knowledge for everybody else watching. So thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, we'll see you tomorrow.
Wonderful. So we're going to check back in with Rachel and see what she's got going on.
I'm almost done here. I'm just working on our very top tiny little section. I don't know if you can see that. This is backwards. There we go. So just finishing up the top little one here. So my longer hair is on the top because I did a nice one length bob for a haircut. So I'm able to kind of get more color in here. So I'm going to try to take kind of smaller areas. Can you guys see that well? There we go. So I want to try to get more of the pops of color in here. So I'm really just being kind of delicate and only doing just a little bit of color and melting it in. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. I'm just listening and painting and having fun with you guys.
I love it. So while we have you on, I think this is really interesting because Rachel actually didn't start at the Aveda Institute, Winnipeg. You went to another hair school first. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in 2013, January 2013, I actually went to the Aveda Institute for my salon tour, and I completely fell in love with the place. But I definitely did listen to some outside influences that had the kind of outlook of like, it's hair school, why would you pay that much for hair school? And I really came to the conclusion after about 2 months of going to another school that you really do get what you pay for. I did not feel satisfied with the level of education I was getting. I felt very stagnant. I felt like I wasn't going to get what I wanted out of my career. And I wanted more than just like being able to pass my exams. I wanted to actually know how to work on people and be creative and talk to my guests and get to know them and know what's best for them, not just what they're telling me they want. So yeah, after 2 months, I kind of just said screw it and dropped out, and I went back to Aveda, and now here I am.
Yeah, we were so happy to see that. Awesome. Well, we're going to let you keep working right now, and we'll touch base in a little bit again.
Awesome. Sounds good.
So right now, I have another student interview here, and Michelle is so fantastic. She has a very interesting story. So not only is Michelle a mother, she's also a mature student who did a big career switch. So tell us a little bit about that, because you were in the education system prior to my contacting you.
Yes, I was. For 12 years, I was a teacher. And I was just finding that it was really taking up a lot of time outside the teaching day, like encroaching on my evenings. And I feel really bad for my daughter, so I'm a mom first. So I kind of did some reflection, soul searching onto what might give me that creative outlet, especially with COVID happening. I can do the same teaching style that I was used to doing. And it made me remember, like, I'm interested in hair. Yeah, I decided to take the chance and be vulnerable, try something new, and it's awesome so far.
Was it difficult for you to make such a big change?
No, it wasn't. The schedule helps a lot because Aveda's 4 days a week right now, so I have more time with the kids too. But it's just building that confidence, right? To want to make a switch, being a little bit older. But honestly, the girls in my class, they're all 10 years younger than me or more. They don't make me feel old, so they don't. Yeah.
Well, I think you're very young at heart anyway, so it's very easy. So out of every hair school that you possibly went to, what made you choose Aveda?
Oh, I've been using Aveda products for at least 15 years.
A diehard.
Yes, very much. And for me, like I said, the focus was on wellness, right? And that's what I see Aveda as being. It's not, to me, it's not the typical hair salon. I kind of would feel uncomfortable, like Phoenix said, a little bit too, going in. And I think in high school, I wasn't cool enough to take hairstyling, right? So, but Aveda's never given me that vibe. It's very much for everyone. And very holistic. So
very welcoming environment.
Absolutely.
So now just to touch on the fact that you do have children, how have you found balancing your home life and schooling? How has that been for you?
It's been going pretty well, even now that it's remote learning, and just, I guess, from practice.
Well, for your children, it's remote learning.
Yeah, it is, yeah. That's right, because we're in first year, which I'm so thankful for. But they're on remote, so, I've been a single mom for so long that they're pretty independent. So I think, don't doubt that your kids can do it. It's good to teach those independent skills at a younger age, and mine are older, of course.
Yeah, so that helps.
It's been pretty good.
They've both been down here though. They've gotten their hair done, so I'm sure they love that aspect.
Yes, they sure do.
Mom's a hairstylist now. So now let's talk about your funding. How hard was it for you to find funding?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. I needed Tina's help because again, like mature student, I haven't done this in a while. So I think the longest part was getting my 20-year-old high school transcript. Which they came. It wasn't that difficult. They still are in the system.
I told you. You just need to call them.
That's right.
Remember you.
That's right. So I'd say anybody who's not sure about funding, just talk to Tina because she's done it a million times and she'll guide you right through. It was not hard at all.
Yeah. Oh, good. Honestly, I've done it so many times. I've even created my own step-by-step guide where I went through the process of applying. I took screenshots of everything and then wrote in my notes. But I always tell students, day or night, even if you're applying in the evening, I pretty much make myself available for my students 24/7. You can probably attest to that. But I will make sure I'm by the phone to help you through the process, just in case you have any questions. But yeah, so now, what advice would you give to anybody who's in a career that they're not sure if that's what they're passionate about and they kind of want to follow their dreams, but they're a little bit nervous?
Yeah, I think it starts with being very reflective, right? Taking the time to, don't just think about money or perks of the job. Like for me, it was about finding balance, something I enjoyed, and I had to really think on it, right? It's like I didn't do a master's or continuing education, and this is what it was. Like this was the creative outlet that I needed. So be vulnerable in that when you're thinking about making a big change, and trust yourself. And when you're here, like really the teachers are amazing mentors. They're very much experts in their field. So trust the process, I think, trust the universe and yourself, and you'll be able to do it if you're in the same boat as I am.
And it's okay to be scared, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, the good things in life are a little bit scary, but I think once you take the chance, you'll find out that you'll find like your true passion and your true bliss in life.
And it's very cool to do something that's difficult initially and then get it, right? It's such a good feeling. Like I couldn't do the round brush at first, and then the second try I got it. I was so happy because the first time it was just stuck in my mannequin's hair. I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? I'm gonna make the wrong decision. But no, but not at all. I got it the second try. So it's a good feeling to have that instant feedback and to see your own growth and progress compared to when I was in university, and it's a very lengthy process. So
well, and it's so crazy for me to watch because I think I have the greatest position here at Aveda. I get to see everybody when they're first embarking on this journey and then watch them grow so quickly in their craft. Like I think the biggest thing that always stands out for me is the first time I see students holding their shears correctly, I'm like, they're growing up so fast. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. If anybody has any questions for Michelle, of course, you can feel free to reach out to me and I'll pass it along to her. And yeah, thank you. Thanks. So we'll touch back in with Rachel and see where she's at in the process here. Ooh.
So I have finished the applying process. You can see everything's in there now. So I just let this sit for a good 20 minutes before I rinse it out with very, very cold water. You don't want to use hot water on this, otherwise it gets everywhere. But yeah, then it turns out like this.
That is so cool. Now, do you have a lot of guests that like this style? Like, have they been getting similar?
I used to a lot. Definitely, like, my guest family is a little bit more on the mature side nowadays, which is totally awesome. I definitely do try to convince them to do stuff like this, but they don't go for it as much. But this kind of trend, I feel, really comes in waves. So you'll get a huge spike of people who really want to do the crazy fashion colors, then it kind of quiets down a bit, and then people want it again. So it's kind of something that's never ending, I feel like.
I love it. I think that is cool. And I love when I see so many people coming into the school and getting like the vibrant colors.
Yes.
And it's becoming so common. Like, I see, you know, women and people that are like 60 years and older getting like these beautiful bright colors.
It's awesome. I definitely think in our industry, people are kind of breaking the stigma that you have to be a certain age to do fun stuff. I really think that it's not what your age is. That's just a number. It's just really who you are. And that's one thing that's awesome about color, is it really kind of helps bring that out of people. So
gorgeous. Now, for anybody who's considering hair school, what advice would you give them?
Just do it. Honestly, don't wait. Just absolutely do it. It's such an amazing path to take. It's not a job. Like, you get to be creative and have fun every day and paint and cut people's hair, and you build such amazing connections with people, and you get to see crazy transformations happen. And I'm not like necessarily talking about what happens in their hair, but within them, like, to see somebody completely change and look at themselves differently in such a positive light is something I feel extremely privileged to do. So don't wait and just do it, honestly.
I love it. Thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
I will work up to building my swagger. So pull that off.
Yes.
In progress here, but I'll get there. Awesome. Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
Amazing. So right now I have another interview. This is Madison. Madison is in our January class. So you just started out. How has things been going for you so far?
So far, things have been going pretty well. Every time I walk through these doors, I just feel like everybody's very accepting. I just feel like this is where I belong. So it definitely doesn't feel like work. It feels.
Yeah. It feels like you're excited to come here. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what made you choose hairstyling as your career?
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I've always had a passion for hair. And growing up, I had very curly hair. So I was always experimenting, and I found that the more I changed my look, the more I felt confident and happy with myself. And loving yourself, I feel like, is a huge part of who you should be and inspire others to do.
Yeah, and it's kind of like what Rachel just talked about right now, is that, you know, you being able to change how people feel about themselves. It's such a huge thing, right?
Absolutely.
So rewarding. Awesome. So what made Aveda stand out to you over any other hair school?
Well, I've also been using Aveda for years. I've had a few friends that have come to Aveda, and I've heard nothing but good. So I wanted the best schooling, and hearing their insight and coming here and experiencing for myself, I knew that this is where I belong. I trusted this school.
Yeah, good. Now, Madison actually had a very interesting I guess, story behind how you were able to come to hair school. So she was actually on employment and income assistance, and she was still able to get funding to come to school, and they fully funded her. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that process?
So I'm grateful that I'm getting the support. And before coming in, I was a little bit fearful for the funding, just because it was quite a bit. But actually committing, coming here, and reaching out to you, there's no problem. It was smooth sailing. All it took was coming in and reaching out to my worker and coming up with a plan. And after the first step, my worker helped me out with everything, and it was smooth sailing.
I think that's one of the beautiful things about living in Manitoba is we have so many different funding options for wherever you are in life. Like there's grants, there's Manitoba Student Aid, there's employment insurance, Manitoba Job Skills and Development. There are so many opportunities and resources for students that honestly doesn't need to just be a pipe dream. It can actually be a reality. And I will share this, I haven't had one student who I wasn't able to find some sort of funding for them. So if you're at all nervous about it, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help, of course. So now I guess, what advice would you give to someone who's nervous about if they're able to find funding, you know?
I would say the best advice is to reach out. Because all it took me was reaching out to Tina, and I had fears that it wouldn't work out, but reaching out and coming up with a plan solved everything.
I think that's the scariest thing for people is just you get in your own head and you believe that no, it's not a possibility, but all it takes is something as simple as joining a virtual open house and finding more information about this, and just being able to see that things can become a reality, and I will do my best to help you get there. Thank you so much. So now I just want to talk about, we have our amazing giveaways. Are we going to be doing a Q&A with Rachel as well? Okay, so we'll talk about the giveaways afterwards. Rachel, I believe we're going to be doing the questions for you from all of our registrants that are on.
Yeah, so we have a couple questions in the chat right now. These are mostly for you, Tina, but if anyone else has questions, please enter them in and we'll do our best to answer them.
Ooh,
so I have 4 from Vanessa. So the first one is, what are the school hours? So that seems like our hours of operation for the school itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, we have developed our 4-day schedule. So how it works for students is that when they're in the theory portion of their schooling, so now this doesn't mean you're stuck in a classroom. Our education and curriculum is very hands-on. So it just means you're working on your mannequin head at that time. You're not working on real guests just yet. So you will be scheduled 9 to 5 on those days. And which days you're in school will depend on the intake you're in, so we can certainly go over that together. But you'll be scheduled 9 to 5 on those days, but you'll also be assigned a homework assignment. Now, when you complete that assignment on time, you will get 2 more hours towards your day, making it technically like a 10-hour day. Now, when you are on clinical, which means these are your guest days, you will be scheduled from 9 to 7. You're going to have fewer guest days, but you're able to do more than 1 guest on those days. So it still gives you the same amount of guest experience, just on fewer days. And it also allows you to have those 3 days off. So when you're at the stage of your career, or your educational career, and when you're ready to start working in a salon, which, by the way, you can do 3 months into the program, you can start accumulating your apprenticeship hours. So now you have a few more days off where you can work in the salon, or you have just like a nice, better family schooling balance. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, following up with that, what's the duration of the program?
So the program, we are just under 10 months long. So right now, because of COVID, our students do start off in the virtual classroom just for the first 4 weeks. And then after that, their education is moved into the school. So it's just under 10 months.
Yeah, you also, there's another question about that as well, as if there's an option for distance learning for the bookwork, so like the theory, and you just addressed that as well. First 4 weeks of the program are theory.
Yeah, and honestly, hairstyling cannot be taught distance because it is a very hands-on trade. So when you're in the virtual classroom, you're in the alpha unit, and that is a little bit more of a theory-based unit anyway. So you're going to be learning a little bit of anatomy, physiology, microbiology, but it's really so you have a really good understanding of the molecular structure of the hair, the skin, the follicles. So you have a good understanding of what you're working with, as well as plant aromaology, because we are crazy about plants here. All of our products are 100% vegan and between 94 and 99% plant derived, including our color line. So that's a little bit of the theory portion that you'll be working on. And then once you're moved into the school, essentially for your education, it's very hands-on. You are right in there with absolutely everything.
Another question as well, and this is a great one for you to address because Tina's an esthetician. What are the basic, are there basic esthetician training within the program as well?
Yes, absolutely. So you are going to learn the fundamentals of skincare and nail care. So more like a basic manicure, a basic facial. You are also going to be learning about makeup as well. Here at Aveda Institute, we believe in, as Colleen described earlier, the Aveda points of difference. So we do little things for our clients that mean so much for them. One of them being a finishing touch-up, where after you're done doing your client's service, you will touch up their makeup. So now your client leaves feeling like $1 million, and now your portfolio picture is even more polished. And with that being said, just to touch on that, right from the get-go of your education here, you're going to be building up your clientele base. Our clients always follow students where they choose to work. You're going to be building up your portfolio, and you also make tips as a student. So it's always nice to make money early on.
Absolutely. We have another one here for you, Tina. Have you had any students get apprenticeships in other provinces or countries post-graduation? And if so, how was that process for them?
Absolutely. We have students who have graduated and moved to a different province. Now, as far as like the apprenticeship goes, it depends on the provincial regulations of that province. So you'll just need to check with the province that you are moving to. But as far as doing your apprenticeship in Manitoba and getting your license red seal here, that is something that needs to be done within the province. But you, again, just check on which province you're going to be moving to and find out from the provincial regulations.
Absolutely, and we've had many students go to other provinces. We've also had students go to other countries, not as much recently, but that's certainly something that happens. And our team also supports all of our students wherever they choose to go. So we are more than happy to help you no matter where you choose to look after graduation.
And the greatest thing about that is that Aveda is a global brand. We are in over 20 countries. We have over 7,000 salons in the world. So this means that you have opportunity to go and work anywhere in the world that you want. Now, with that being said, you're not required to go and work at an Aveda salon. We love it when our students do, but this just opens up so many more doors for you.
Absolutely. Here's another one. So how many hours is the apprenticeship portion of your career?
Yeah, so how it works with apprenticeship is that you need to complete 1,400 hours of your educational hours, and then your apprenticeship hours start when you commence working in a salon. So all salon owners and their managers will know to document your hours. You will need to get to 1,600 hours of working in a salon. Now, again, with that being said, you can start accumulating your apprenticeship hours 3 months into your program. So you can definitely get a jump start on that. And honestly, with the 4-day schedule, it makes it so much easier for you.
Awesome. I have a question here for Rachel as well. So as an Aveda graduate, have you found it easier to get jobs at salons?
Absolutely. Honestly, even the question about other provinces, right when I graduated school, I moved to Alberta. So I didn't do my apprenticeship here. And it was way easier for me to get a job. Pretty much I went in, they asked me where I went to school. I said the Aveda Institute, and within like the same week I was hired there. And after being there for a while, you kind of learn the hiring process, and it is easier for a lot of salons to onboard students who have been to AIW or an Aveda Institute, because the curriculum is well known, what we learn there is well known, and the quality is well known. So it definitely made it a lot easier. And then even coming back, having AIW under my belt was definitely a shoo-in, so it was a lot easier.
Awesome. I have another one for Rachel as well. So Rachel, what is your favorite part of being in this industry?
Oh God.
That's
That's a tough one. There are so many things, but I really do think, as I said before, one of the greatest ones for me is really making connections with people and see the change in them once you kind of bring out something in them and put it on the outside. Just seeing them super happy is really awesome. But I would say, other than that, it's super cool when you can travel to be able to go to different provinces or different countries and you meet somebody from Aveda, and it's like you have this instant connection. I think it's super cool that globally we are connected with so many people just because of the industry that we're in, and it's awesome.
And Rachel, I know when you were at, was it Diva Salon, right?
Yes.
You actually went to Europe and did like education out there as well.
I did, yeah. That's another perk. I'm just gonna tell you guys all the perks, but honestly, going to Aveda has such a crazy global network. The amount of education that you can take after school is insane. So you have the ability to really travel anywhere and get to just learn and meet other people within the network, and it's fantastic. Yeah, I've been to London for it, the States a few times, all over Canada, and it's really cool.
Amazing. Rachel, there's one more question for you. So what was the hardest part about being in school?
Oh. Oh gosh, it's been a minute, but I would say, and for anybody that knows me, it's pretty clear. The hardest part was that I myself am a perfectionist. So you really have to let go of that and understand that making mistakes is something that's really awesome, and you actually get to learn from it, and not to be so hard on yourself. So I think the hardest part for me was accepting that, like, I'm not perfect and really learning that and being open to new experiences. But other than that, it was smooth sailing, and I had a lot of support, so it was great.
That is great advice. I feel like a lot of people that enroll are perfectionists, and they just like, you know, they've tried so hard and they want to do so great. So I think it's okay to know that you're going to make mistakes. This is what hair school is all about.
Yes, exactly. Your first haircut's not going to be perfect, and probably your 10th one either, but it's okay. You'll get better.
Rachel, I think this is another interesting one for you to address, and I think that'll probably be our last question for the evening, unless Tina, you have any more. Were there any in-school clients who were disappointed with your work?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it still happens now, and that's the thing. You have to be okay with that and recognize that you're not going to be perfect every time. Not everybody that sits in your chair is going to be meant for you and you for them, right? And it's okay. And just knowing how to navigate that situation and accept that it's not personal and not about you, and kind of move on from it. And always, whatever mistakes you make, don't look at them like a bad thing. Look at it like a learning experience.
I think that is fantastic advice. And honestly, if any of you guys have more questions for Rachel, please feel free to reach out to me. I will pass it along to Rachel. She is always more than happy to answer any questions. She loves this industry and she loves talking about it. So that was another reason why we chose to have her on this gorgeous day of our virtual open house. So thank you so much, Rachel.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Amazing. So did anybody else have any more questions for me, Naomi?
That looks like it is just about it in the chat. Were there any other ones that were submitted earlier that you'd like to go over?
No, I think that was about it. And I just wanted to let everybody know that you don't see Naomi right now, but she is our marketing manager. She is my partner in crime. You saw a little bit of her tiny hand. But Naomi is fantastic because listen to this. We also do additional workshops and seminars for our students. We're constantly looking for what else we can do to help make our students more well-rounded professionals. Now, Naomi here, she will be the one that comes in and does training with you on social media, how to brand yourself, how to recruit guests, and it's really fun to learn all about this. She's got some great insight and she loves to share it. So you will also get to see her, not just hear her voice, but yeah. Just wanted to slightly introduce Naomi here. So now the last part of our segment here is obviously we have some really exciting giveaways for you guys. We are going to be doing a $200 prize basket. So I have it just over here. So we have some beautiful tools in here. We have the 1-inch Fabulous curling irons. We have a couple of brushes. We have some clips, combs, everything. So one of you lucky people that have been on this virtual open house with us will qualify to win this prize basket. So thank you so much. Now, the other thing is, for those of you that are genuinely interested in hair school, we also have a $1,000 scholarship that we are going to be giving away to one of our students who registers and enrolls for one of our classes. So I can definitely help you with all of that information. Now, I just wanted to talk to you real quick about the application process. For those of you who are genuinely interested in enrolling or just have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me on my cell, 204-293-3906. So you can text me tonight even, just let me know that you are interested in hair school, and tomorrow I will send you out the email with the application items in it. So within that, there will be a link to the application form that is online. It doesn't take very long to fill out. And then you would also need to submit a letter of recommendation. So just from anybody that knows you that can say a few lovely things about you on why I should enroll you. And then there is the personal essay. Essay sounds super formal. It's really like a journal entry, 250 words of you describing to me why you want to become a hairstylist, why you want to attend Aveda Institute, Winnipeg. Now, I would also need just a picture of your high school transcript. I know Michelle had talked about it earlier that sometimes it can take a little bit to get your transcript. So just reach out to your high school. I don't need the original. You can certainly just send me a picture. And then there is a $225 application fee. So yeah, I will send that all in an email to you, and I wanted to let you all know that there will be an additional bonus to any of our students who apply within 3 days. So obviously, to find out more about that, reach out to me and I will be happy to help guide you along this journey. I wanted to thank you all so much for joining us, for taking the time out of your busy schedule just to find out more about something that is interesting to you, because that is really just the first step. And if I can be of any assistance and help guide you along this journey, I would love that opportunity. I'm honestly so passionate about this, as are the rest of our staff here. So thank you all so much for joining us. And I hope to speak to you all very soon. Take care, everyone, and have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.